Well, the headline in Mundo Deportivo says it all. Another blow. Reaction to Barcelona crumbling to Valencia, losing in the Copa del Rey final yesterday. 24 hours on, Gab, as the dust starts to settle. What's the latest on Ernesto Valverde and speculation about his future?
Well, already today, and then I think you'll see it in your headlines tomorrow, there's stories about the Barcelona president, Bartomeu, consulting those around him, making sure he's... I'm told that, or certainly the story is being reported as, it's more of a confirmatory sounding where he comes and says, hey, I'm making the right decision in keeping Valverde, right? Rather than, what do you think we should do? But it's obvious that there's been a pretty strong backlash to the way this season wound up. I mean, it seems crazy. They won the title, and yet to a lot of Barcelona fans, a lot of Barcelona watchers, Valverde's future is very much in doubt.
Also in doubt, Gab, the signing of Ajax central defender Matthijs de Ligt. It seemed to be in the bag not so long ago, but now severe doubts about that. Why?
Well, there's a number of things. I mean, partly the people looking after de Ligt, specifically Mino Raiola, who's trying to get the deal done, he's trying to create an auction, right? So he's punted de Ligt to Real Madrid, he's linked him to Manchester United. He's offered him, obviously, of course, to Barcelona. Some reports here in England saying United are pulling out of the race for de Ligt. That all seems to be up in the air, but I think it's a numbers game for Barca, frankly. They've already spent a ton of money on Frankie de Jong. They definitely can spend money to reinforce the squad, but if you're going to spend 80 million on de Jong, you're going to go after Griezmann, who's going to cost you probably north of 120 as well, then it becomes difficult to also add de Ligt unless you sell the likes of Coutinho, of Rakitic, Silason's another one who's probably going to go, unless you sell all these guys at big numbers, and that's frankly a little bit difficult to do right now. So, de Ligt is still out there, not committed yet. And he himself has come out and said, well, look, I'm in no rush about my future. I haven't signed up with anybody. Let's see what happens. And so I think this is a story that could run for a while.
Interesting. Stevie, let me ask you first. If you're Barcelona, you've only got the money to sign one of these players, Antoine Griezmann or Matthijs de Ligt, what do you do?
I think you go for de Ligt. You only have to look at what happened against Liverpool in the Champions League to see that you really have problems defensively. You still have players in your squad and on your team that can score goals, but you don't seem to have many who are able to keep them out. So right now, I think de Ligt would be the key.
I thought you might go with the defender. I had a sneaking feeling. Are you going to go the other way, Paulie?
Yeah, but I'll tell you for why also. If de Ligt goes to Barca, yes, they need that player in that particular position, but Frankie de Jong now, he'll settle in a little bit quicker because he'll have one of his mates. I know it might sound a little bit soppy to say that, but that's a fact of life. If you can go to a club and you've got somebody who you know his game, especially in the spine of the side, I think that's fantastic for the club. I think it's fantastic for the players for them to settle in very, very quickly.
So you'd go de Ligt as well?
Yes, I would, yes.
Yeah. Gab, do you concur if it really boils down to a straight choice, Barcelona spending money on one of these two, which way would you go?
Well, we need to remember Griezmann is considerably more expensive than de Ligt. So I think that might factor into it too. I get what the boys are saying, and I'm definitely in the minority here. I do think Gerard Piqué actually overall had a very good season. It's certainly better than he's had it in previous years. Maybe his international retirement helps. I think there's more to Lenglet. I think a lot of the problems that where Barcelona's defense looked exposed, a lot of that had to do with issues in midfield and issues at fullback. So I wouldn't go all in on de Ligt just yet if you had to make a choice. But then again, I'm not wild about Griezmann either as being the answer, given that hopefully at some point you're going to have a fit Dembele who's going to play regularly. So to me, this whole situation is pretty messy. I think they need to start by basically telling themselves, we're going to go and we're going to sell first. Griezmann and de Ligt will still be around. There's no huge rush on the part of our competitors to go and move forward with them, because Real Madrid have also been linked, but they also would have to shift players. They just signed another centre back in Adrian. It's hard to see them shifting Varane or let alone Sergio Ramos to make way for De Ligt. United, we'll see. Again, reports saying that they've ruled themselves out. Maybe they're not so sure. So I would try to buy a little time and try to sell first and see exactly what I have.
For more, sign up now for ESPN Plus.